Mr. Q.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we have to face with a very popular topic, how to use correctly the standard normal table, or we usually call the z-table. Before going to the lesson, you should be aware that the standard normal table is the most basic and typical concept of statistics, which means you have to understand clearly how it works and how we could use it correctly. Otherwise, you will get stuck in the following topics thereafter. In this video, I have simplified the standard normal table so that anyone can understand and use it easily. So, let me start the lesson right now.
Firstly, you should understand your problem clearly. During my teaching career, I have seen lots of students have many difficulties in differentiating the problems into the right methods. Here, I would divide your problems into two types like this. The first type, when the question has given you the value of x, then asks you to find the probability. And the second one, reversely, they give you the probability, then ask you to find back the exact value of x. Remember that there would be and only be two types of problem like this, and it just depends on the difficulty levels of the question that the test writer wants to trick you. Hence, the first and foremost thing to do is to identify which type problem that your question belongs to. Problem 1. When the value of x is given, the question has asked you to find the probability. There are 4 steps to solve this problem, and you must do step by step. Step 1. Draw the bell shape. I will show you clearly how to draw the bell shape when we move to the practice question. Step 2. Transfer from x value to the z value by using this formula. Z is equal to x minus v over sigma. Third, fill the z value that you have just figured out into the bell shape. And finally, look at the z-table. Then compare your bell shape with the z-table and find the corresponding probability. Okay, so let me take an example here. The question gives you the x value, which is less than 8.6, and asks you to find the probability. Of course, this is just an example, so I have simplified it to be visible for you. In the real test questions, these figures would be replaced by many words. Nevertheless, they are still located in the same structure, the same method. Do you remember the 4 steps of solving problem type 1? Step 1. Draw a bell shape. Believe me, don't try and force yourself to understand clearly the question meaning. Just follow me, and you will not only get the right result, but also understand problems in the easier way. I would say that you should draw the exact bell shape like mine for step 1, which means the values below here is no more the x values, but you have to transfer it into the z value. Therefore, z is always equal to 0 in the middle of the bell shape. This rule is quite easy to understand, but to save time, I wouldn't explain it for too long. All you need to do is to apply this bell shape in any problems of probability. Believe me, you wouldn't get it wrong. Move on to the next step. I would transfer from x value to the z value. Very easy. The question has given you the x value, the mean, and the standard deviation. So, our z value is x minus mean and over standard deviation, which is 0.12. Next, we would fill this z value into the bell shape. Let's see. Because the z value is equal to 0 in the middle, so z will be positive values on the right and the negative values on the left, right? Here we have z is equal 0.12, which is a positive value, so we will put it on the right of the 0, quite easy. To illustrate, we are going to figure out the probability of x values which are less than 8.6, which is equivalent to the z values which are less than 0.12. So, as z is less than 0.12, so our probability will cover the region from here to the left. Now we just find the probability of this region, and it's time to use the z-table. So, you can realize that the z-table contains two different sides. One side has the probability which is greater than 50%, so I will call it as the big table. In contrast, the other side has the probability which is less than 50%, and I will call it as the small table. When you start to use the z-table, you would be very confused about which sides to use. This is very important because it would affect the accuracy of your result. So let me restate the rule. If the probability covers greater than 50% of total, we would use the big table like this. And reversely, if it covers less than 50% of total, we would use the small table. So return to our case. Here you can see the probability is greater than 50% of total. Therefore, we would use the big table to look up for the correct probability. So, this is the big table. Here, we have z is equal to 0.12. In any case, you have to analyze this figure into two separate parts, 0.1 plus 0.02. The first decimal place, 0.1, represents the z-values located in the column, while the second decimal place, 0.02, represents the z-values located in the row. After you can identify the position of your z-value, you would find the intersection of the row and column, which is also the probability that we are looking for. Hence, the probability of the problem is 0.5478, which is 54.78%. In example 2, I will keep all of the information as original. I only change the case into greater than 8.6. So the question asks you to find the probability of the values which are greater than 8.6. Similarly, for step 1 to step 3, I would draw the bell shape. Transfer x to z, fill z which is equal to 0.12 into the bell shape. Here, we get another case. When z is greater than 0.12, you should realize that the probability will cover the region which is less than 50% of the total. So, we have to use the small table. Look at the small table. It is quite different from the big table when we compare the position of the z-value. Again, 0.1 is the value of z in the column, below here, and 0.02 is the value of z in the row here. So, the intersection of the row and column is 0.4522, which is 45.22%. Now, I can imagine that you are wondering about another way to solve the example 2. But you should remember that for the sum problems, there would be 1,000 ways to solve it. But the most important thing here is how to solve it correctly and effectively. Of course, you can also use this way to solve the problem. But to me, this is only convenient when the previous question has asked you to find out the probability of x, which is less than 8.6, like the example 1 that I've just presented to you. Otherwise, you should not use this way to solve your problem. is it is too long and more complicated, which may make you more confused. So just follow me. For the correct type table, small or big table, this way is very simple and faster. You don't need to know too many ways to solve a problem, but you would rather use the fastest and the most effective way. So, this is the end of my video. Let me remind you that we just went through the problem 1, finding probability with a given value of x. Link for problem 2 is put in the description of this video. As you know, making a lecture, overview slide, and editing videos are very complicated and cost me lots of time. If you see my video is helpful, please help me like and subscribe my channel. That would be a big motivation for me to make more useful videos. And if you have any question or feedback, please feel free to leave your comments below, and I would dedicate my time to reply you all. Now, thanks very much for watching, and have a nice day.